what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we can find ads for just about any company, or we can just look at a list of ads that are running in your industry to figure out what's already working. So let's say I want to search a particular company. So for example, let's say I want to look at Mind Valley. This is a company I've looked at recently because they do a really good job of YouTube ads. Now, if you're not familiar with Mind Valley, they're a company that does spiritual coaching and related, like mental, inner game, self-help kind of stuff. So if I search for this, I can look at ads that have the word Mind Valley in it. I can go to brands or I can go to companies. And so I think I will go to brands here, and they got a few different affiliates in different languages. I'll just search the regular one. And the first thing that I can see here is, well, I can see that they spent $8.5 million over the last 365 days. So they're spending a lot of money on YouTube ads, and I can see what their spend is looking like over time. So over the last 12 months, they've been spending pretty steadily, although they've kind of flattened off in the last since February, or since like in the last year, since January, although it's still on the uptrend. And then I can scroll down and I can see these are the ads that they're actually running, that they have run. Some of them are running now, some of them have run in the past. And what I like to look at, there's three fields that I like to look at. There's this total ad spend 30, and the publish date. Publish date means when it started. Total ad spend is how much they've spent on it total. And ad spend 30 is how much they spent on the ad in the last 30 days. So what I like to see is something like this first one, that this one has been running since November 2023. That's like, what, a year and a half. And they've spent more than like $4.5 million on it. And they spent $43,000 on it just over the past 30 days. So this is one that's just keeps making them money over and over again, and they keep dumping money into it. That's a pretty good indication that it's working. So just because a company is running an ad does not mean that that ad is working. So you need to be a little careful of this. You might see an ad and think, oh, that's a great idea, I'm going to do the same thing. But you kind of want to ask yourself, okay, well, what if this ad is a total flop? It could, and this happens all the time. Like even companies that are really good at advertising will create an ad that doesn't work because they're testing a whole bunch of different things. So just because you saw an ad on YouTube does not mean that that ad is a good ad or that that ad is making money. But if you see an ad that's like this, that's spent $4.5 million and they continue spending money on it, well, clearly it's working, because otherwise they would have shut it off a long time ago. They don't spend $4.5 million on an ad that's not working. So once I identify that, and I usually like to sort by this one. I like to see ad spend 30 and see which are they spending the most on now. Because one thing that you'll see sometimes, and let me see if I can find you an example of that. Looks like they're spending money on most of these. Okay, so here's one that they spent. Okay, this was published in 2020. They spent $200K on it, but over the last 30 days, they only spent $49, which is pretty much just zero. Now, all of these spend numbers are estimated by the view count, so they may not be exactly accurate. But compared to 200K, 49 is basically zero. And if I look at, like, they only give me over 2 years, but you can kind of see the end of 2021 here. You can see how it's on an uptrend, and then it kind of just flattens out. That suggests to me that this is an ad that used to be working but stopped working. Or if I look at this one, because this is a little bit newer, that's from 2023. I'll look at the same thing. So I see this big increase in spend, or if I go over 2 years. So they barely ran it at all. Then they like jacked it up for that's like 1 month or something, and then they stopped. So maybe it was working over that month. I mean, if they spent $75K, they probably got some results from it. But then they decided that it's not working that well, at least compared to the other ads that they're running. So that suggests, because I'm pointing that out because sometimes you'll find ads that used to work but stopped working. And so just because you see they spent a lot in total ad spend doesn't mean that it's working right now. That's why I like to look at the total ad spend and the ad spend 30. And I usually use the ad spend 30 as kind of my primary criteria here. So this is clearly their best performing ad. And if I look at, in terms of both total ad spend and ad spend 30, this is their best performing ad. So if I want to look at that, I just click on it. I can watch the ad right here, and I can take out pieces of it, and I can look at, like, what are they saying in the ad? And those things are things that I can then use in my business if I run a similar business to this one. I can also look at the length. This one is crazy long. It's 32 minutes long. A lot of people think that for a YouTube ad, you need to make it like under 15 seconds or under 30 seconds. But that's not true at all. I mean, they put $4.5 million on an ad that's 32 minutes long. So that doesn't mean that you have to make ads that are 32 minutes long. My ads are usually like between 1.5 and 3 minutes. But it just goes to show you there's not really a one size fits all here. Your length on YouTube ads is pretty much unlimited. So the way that they run ads, it's almost like a webinar. Their ad itself is like a webinar. It's very long and very descriptive, or like an infomercial. And I can look at how much they're spending over time. If I look at over 2 years, they just keep putting money on it over and over and over again, which, of course, suggests to me that it's working, because they would have cut it off a long time ago if it was not working. And in fact, not only is it working, but it continues to work. Then I can also see the landing pages. So this is, where is this ad pointing to? Where do people go when they view this ad? And I can click on those and I can take a look at what the landing page is. And I can say, okay, well, this is what their landing page looks like. This is their price point. This just disappeared. It's $2.99 a year. And if I'm a competitor to this company, I can take a look at that and I can format my landing page similar to theirs. Now, again, I want to make the distinction that their structure is a little bit unusual. They have a very long ad. They have a 32-minute long ad. They're doing most of the selling in the ad. And so then they go straight to here you can buy on the landing page. For most people, it's not going to work like that. Like the way that I usually do it is I'll have a shorter ad. I'll say, hey, click here to get some kind of free training or a free ebook or something. And then after they get the free training or the free ebook, then they'll go to a place where they can actually buy from me. You have to spend some time, again, depending on the business. But if it's a business that requires a certain level of trust, then you have to spend some time in order to earn that level of trust. And whereas I would do it with my free training or free ebook, they're doing it just right there in the ad. That's why the ad is so long. So that's another thing to consider. It's like you have to consider the context in which your competitors' ads and their landing pages are running. Now, if you see multiple landing pages down here, it just means that they've tested different variations. And you can even see in their URLs, they have like variation 18, variation 20. And you can go see what those are. So this is an ad that's working. So this is an ad that we can copy what they're doing, essentially. And we can also see kind of a chart of what ads they're running over what time period. So the one that we just looked at, I believe, was the blue one here. And we can see, okay, so we can see like this, or like this pink line. You see, they've run this since 2017 all the way up through 2022. And it's been going up and up and up since then, and then it flatlined. That means that ad was working well for them for a long time, but then they turned it off. So probably it stopped working. Either it stopped working or they changed the order so it was no longer relevant. Or it could be that it was still working, but they found a different variation that worked better. But if what you really want to see is an ad like this, that's just on an uptrend and it never flattens out. That's the best thing to look for, is like, this is a winner. And then you can see smaller ones down here too, like this green one. This one looks like a winner too. They're not putting as much money on it. It's on a smaller scale, but it just keeps going up. So that suggests to me that it's a winner. Then you have some like this yellow line here or this brown line that it goes up for, how long is that? Well, it's actually a fairly decent time. That was like 10 months before they shut it off. If you see one that just goes up and then immediately goes flat within like 1 month, that's just an ad that didn't work at all, most likely. So this is what you do if you actually know the name of your competitor. If you want to just kind of look around, what you can also do is go into ads, click on ads on the left here, and then you can look at categories and let's say, and find the category that you're in. So let's say that you're in beauty and fitness and maybe you own a gym, let's say. I can go to fitness and gyms and health clubs. I'll click on that. And now I can see what people are spending on gym ads. And again, I like to start with this ad spend 30 to see what's working right now. So for example, just to show you this like Planet Fitness ad, they spent $2 million on it, but now they're not spending anything at all. So it suggested that they decided that it wasn't good for them for whatever reason. Also, you may want to be a little careful of copying corporate ads. So a big corporation like Planet Fitness, a lot of times they have a marketing department with just basically they throw money at it and say, here, run ads for us. And they don't even really know if their ads are working or not. So you don't, generally, if you own a small business, don't try to take a page from the corporate book, because a lot of times what they do is not even working for them, much less working for you. But let's see what is being spent on now. So we got Smart Fit, which is Brazilian. Let me search for just English here. I've been to Smart Fit, actually. It's a nice gym. I used to live in Brazil for a little while. And then, still the first one's Smart Fit. These filters are not perfect. And okay, so we have Gold's Gym. And notice, by the way, these are like 15 or 16, 30, 31 seconds. These tend to be the big corporations. Because they will create like a TV commercial format, and then they'll just dump it on YouTube and hope it works. So theirs are usually 15 or 30 seconds. But if I go and find one that's a little bit different, man, these are all 15, 30 seconds. Or even less. That one's 5 seconds. So that might not have been the greatest idea, but you can still see like this Gold's Gym ad, for example. They spent $28K over the last 30 days and $54K total. Or this one is $27K and then $108K total. So that suggests to me, and this has been running since February, so that suggests to me that they're satisfied with the ad because they've already spent a bunch on it and they continue to spend on it. Let me try something different than gyms. Maybe that wasn't the greatest example. Let's say business and industrial marketing. How about that? Just use my own business as an example. So we have MailChimp, LinkedIn ads. A lot of these that spend the most are going to be corporate stuff. Slick Text I never heard of. Let's take a look at that one. I'm curious. So just by this, and I'm not going to play the video because the sound doesn't work, which is kind of annoying, but you can play the video here. And, well, actually, it's not going to let you play the video. You have to click on this and go off to YouTube in order to see it. But in this app, for whatever reason, my sound doesn't share. So I don't want to play videos that often. But anyway, so we can see that since August of last year, this has been going up and up and up steadily. That's a good sign. That sounds to me like an ad that's working. Or if I look at 2 years, this has been, I guess it started in August. So yeah, so that looks like it's a really good ad. And this one actually does not have and it's only 17 seconds long, and it doesn't have a landing page. So this sounds like an ad that you don't actually click on. It's like a TV commercial kind of ad. So maybe that's one of those corporate style ads, which, yeah, the big spenders tend to be the corporations. But if I can go down and find, okay, that one's in German. I'll watch that. Or, okay, here's an ad that's 13 minutes long. This is in Spanish, but it says segmentation on Facebook ads, the 4 most effective audiences for making sales. So this is probably a small business owner. He's running a longish ad. And if we look at our 12 months, he's just spending and spending and spending. So clearly this ad is working. And well, that's interesting. It doesn't give me a landing page for this either. Yeah, some of them, I'm sure that one has a landing page, but it's not giving it to me. Unless actually sometimes what they'll do is they'll push one of the videos on the channel. They'll promote that specifically. And so if that's the case, then there's no landing page. So that's probably what's going on there. And then what else do we got? Oh, here's a longish one for ManyChat. Okay, so here's an example of one that it looks like it was working and then stopped working because you see it going up and up and up, and then it just flattens out. And here I can look at the landing page. So you have to do a little bit of digging for this to work. Like, as you can see, this is a little clunky looking specifically for a particular industry. And then I can look at brands, like I can look at companies in certain industries. So let's say jobs and education. And maybe we'll do career resources. And I can go see like what companies are spending the most on YouTube ads. And it's set to worldwide. I think I can just put that can just put one specific country there. So I can see like who's spending the most. And then if I say, okay, Skill Up Coalition, this is a company that offers something similar to me. I'm going to click on that and see what they're spending here. And it looks like it is flat. So yeah, it looks like these guys spent money in the past, but they're not really spending money now, which is interesting. So it sounds like YouTube ads in general do not work very well for them, which could well be because they just tried to do like TV commercial style ads and dump it on YouTube and assume that would work, and it doesn't work because you have to do it differently. If I go to American Student Assistance, so this one, the curve keeps going up. That means that they continue to run ads. That means that it's working. If I go look at ad spend 30, like this one spent 45K over the last 30 days, 1.5 million total. This sounds like it's probably a pretty good ad. And I can go look at the ad spend on that ad over time, and I can look at where that goes. So if you'll do this, then this will, if you can find your competitors on this, and most companies, by the way, are not running ads on YouTube. It's a very underutilized opportunity, which is weird because it's pretty much the best ad platform that there is, because you can do unlimited length video ads and you can target more specifically than just about anywhere else, because it's the Google platform. YouTube is owned by Google, and Google knows what people are looking for. It knows just about everything about people. It knows what they're reading in their Gmail, what they're watching on YouTube, what they're browsing in their Chrome browser. It even knows where they're driving because they own the Google Maps app. And Hans says, try Market Mastery Group. Sure. Yeah, so let's look for something specific here. Market Mastery Group. See if we can find anything there. And it looks like we got two of these. There's Market Mastery Group and Market Mastery Group ESP. I'll try both of them. Okay, so the regular Market Mastery Group here seems to be spending consistently. It's a nice uptrend. It looks like, okay, learn how to trade stocks and options. And this one looks like, oh no, I was going to say that looks like another language, but maybe it's not. Maybe that's just the guy's name. And it has Spanish subtitles though. So yeah, maybe that one's in Spanish. And then, yeah, so Workshop Espanol. But it looks like they're running ads in Spanish and in English. This one's in English. And sure enough, so I can see that they're just spending money month after month on this ad. So probably this is a good ad. And if I click on it, then I can see where the ad goes to. Okay, and so they're doing a free online workshop where looks like they're going to teach you how to master the stock market, and they're going to teach you some cool stuff on the workshop. And at the end of the workshop, they're going to give you an offer to buy their course or to enroll in their coaching program, which you can pay them for, which you now trust them to do because you've learned some cool stuff from their workshop. So just knowing that, it gives you a lot of data on what's working already in the market. And I can watch this ad and see what kind of hook they're using, what kind of evidence they're using that their thing works, like how in-depth they're going into their explanation, etc. So thanks, Hans. That's a good illustration. Yeah, so I'm gonna stop there, but I will give you a link in the description. If you're watching this on the recording, I'm going to give you a link in the description to VidTow to get a free trial. And I'll also give you a link to my free guide to running YouTube ads that get leads and get sales on autopilot while you sleep. And if you want me to help you to do that, I'll put a link in the description as well, where you can apply to work one-on-one with me directly.